Royal Technologies, and another who is working with Hayward. Talking with them, we got to tell them about our hopes and fears for this project. While we were here, it felt like we were a part of the JR Automations family. We learned a lot about JR and what they do. We are able to work with the managers and talk with the employees about their experiences with JR. Haley will go into depth more about what we were searching for.
Thanks, Ellie. So we thoroughly enjoyed touring the different JR locations. It was fascinating to watch the massive Mako robots and the autonomous robots in the warehouse. As a team, we went out to lunch together, visited parks, and even did an escape room together. The past 2 weeks have been amazing. So our driving question is, how can we enhance the employee experience? To find out how we could help, we had many conversations with all different types of employees that make up JR. We had numerous interviews here at the Quality Drive location, where we asked employees what they wanted to see more of, what they wanted to see changed, etc. The general consensus was that employees would like to feel a greater sense of choice in their projects, even as much as simply expressing their preference. We also heard that they would appreciate a greater sense of recognition, and not just for their accomplishments as a team, but for their hard work as individuals. In fact, one interviewee remarked, as an organization, we could do better at recognizing our employees. So, to narrow down a solution, we ran what we call the NUF test. We had 6 ideas for solutions, and we gave them points for how new, useful, and feasible they were. That's what the NUF stands for. There was a clear winner. Now Liliana is going to talk about what that winner was.
Thank you, Haley. We decided to address this by creating our new app. The app will allow employees to have an option for what projects they want to work on, along with what businesses they would like to work with. Now Jasper will explain our new app.
Thanks, Liliana. Neptune is an app that will allow JR's employees to optimize their work through an algorithm that feeds them project information similarly to many social media platforms, based on their preferences and information about which aspects of a project they work best with. We chose the name Neptune because JR is trying to be the biggest fish in the automation sea, and because the planet is big and blue. Here's Lily to talk about why we chose this solution.
We chose to create a new app because there wasn't a program out there that had all of the features we were looking for. This is a brand new idea and opportunity for JR to get ahead of the game and possibly market it to others. It is an app, but it can also be used on a computer. Neptune uses an algorithm to suggest projects that employees would enjoy. With some employees getting burnt out from working on the same type of projects, Neptune offers an option for them to try and branch out more, preventing possible burnout and giving the employees more choice. However, people are not guaranteed the projects they show interest in. Similarly, if people don't sign up for a project, then the managers will place people in who have the closest match to the project. Neptune is a tool for management to give the employees a voice in what projects management places them in. This will make it so that people who use the app will be rewarded by more choice, and people who don't use the app will be assigned to projects like normal. So we are not punishing people who don't use the app, simply rewarding those who do. Now Yanessa will talk more about the employees' profiles within the app.
Thank you, Lily. This is the profile. Here you can access your own information. It includes your position, time worked for the company, project preferences, resume, saved projects, current and past projects. Saved projects are projects that you are interested in or would like to know more about. Current and past projects are ones that you're currently working on and ones that you've already worked on. In an interview we had with an electrician, we asked the question if he gets burnt out. He responded with, "It depends on what you're working on. Automotive companies are a pain because they are push, push, push." This is the reason why we've included project preferences. So you could get an input on what people prefer to work with. So if you know that aerospace companies aren't so much your thing, you wouldn't put that as your preference. We also found out that he prefers working with John Deere and has done a couple of projects with them. This profile would be accessible to project managers, build managers, and people working on human resources would be able to access it. Now here's Jasper with the homepage.
The homepage is the main feature of the app. This is where the algorithm feeds the employee profiles for projects they may like to work on. Each project's card will show the user basic information about the project as well as how your preferences line up with the project. The employee can swipe right if they are interested in the project, left if they are not, down if they want to save it for later, and up to do any previous actions. Each action on the homepage will help the algorithm better determine the user's skill set and which projects they would both like to do and be the most efficient at doing. If a project is already full and an employee swiped right on it, they will be put on a waiting list in case JR needs more workers or that project is some people are unavailable. The search feature allows users to search for specific projects that are not coming up immediately in their feed. All of these features will help the algorithm to better determine each individual's preferences, aid managers when assigning projects to employees, and address the driving question by enhancing the employee experience. Now, Lily will talk more in depth about project profiles.
So the little eye within the circle, that is what you'll click on to take you to the project profile page. So on the project profile page, it tells you who the customer is, the time, and the match. So this one is a 96% match, so that's a good match. It is kind of like Netflix's match feature where it gives you a percentage based on what other things you like and how much they think you like this. So then it says the project manager in the short description. Within the description, we included the location because employees express that they get burnt out from traveling a long ways several times. So if you know that you're working on a lot of projects that are really far away and you're traveling a lot for those, maybe you could choose one that isn't as far away. It also has the project needs, so what people are needed on the project, and then a button to click if you're interested in. So where it says people already signed up, that would only be visible to managers and HR team, so that the people that are choosing the projects are choosing the projects based on what they are and not the people already in them. Now Ellie will explain another feature of Neptune.
Thank you, Lily. When you tap on the notepad icon, you will be brought to a page that would look like this. This is the project list. They have all the projects available to the employees. Each project has the company above along with a small description of the project. When an employee clicks on the project they want to look into, it will bring them to the information page, like the slide above. That will include a larger description of the project, project manager, etc. The project list will be a classic and easy way to let employees see all the options they have. This will enhance their experience by giving them more of an input of what machines they like to work with and what companies. Now, Liliana will talk about a different section of the app.
Thank you, Ellie. Adding onto the app is a calendar. It will contain the employees' project dates and times, their time off, and their meetings. The calendar will also mark days the employees have left for paid vacation, which is on the top right corner. Then on the bottom of the calendar, employees could type details and notes about their projects and meetings. Along with the calendar, we added a message board. This is to be announced to the entire company. It will include birthdays that will give people individual recognition, projects congratulating teams that finish a team, and events that are coming up, letting people become more of a community. Now on to Haley.
Thanks, Liliana. So it's important to integrate a simple way to communicate because it stimulates conversations between people. The last feature is a messaging system built directly into Neptune that will allow colleagues to connect with each other remotely. To enhance the employee experience, managers would be encouraged to reach out to their peers and to celebrate their hard work, like, hey, you got a lot done on the Peloton project this week. Good work, without having to pull them aside to tell them that. Employees would also be able to communicate plans with each other and otherwise have friendly conversations like normal. Ben can describe in more detail what this would look like.
Thanks, Haley. This archive system will help to save conversations of importance. All you would have to do is swipe right on the conversation you want to archive, and it would save it into the archive section. And then once you feel that you want to go look at the archive conversation, you just select the archive button in the top right, and then you could look at it from there. This will help to enhance the employee experience by making it so workers can have informal and formal conversations so they can strengthen their relationships inside and outside of work so they can feel more like a family. We plan to put it into effect by giving it exclusively to one business unit to sort out bugs and issues. Once all the bugs are sorted out, they can progressively roll out the app to the other different employees. And once the app is fully rolled out, could potentially market it to other companies. A question that we often get asked is how long it will take to create and implement the app. Our estimate was around 6 months to create the app, and 6 months to implement it. Once it is fully implemented, it will take around a year to be in full effect. We found this info by seeing how long a medium-sized app would take to create and came up with this rough estimate. Now I'll hand it off to Yanisa to conclude.
Thank you, Ben. To conclude, the way we think we could enhance the employee's experience at JR is by making this app. We want to bring value to the voice of JR's employees. So we give a voice to the people working here. When the people get to have an input on the types of projects they are working on, more than likely, they would work harder or look forward to doing their project. Thank you for your time, and now we are able to answer some clarifying questions. Nice job.
To the business unit, we are sort of letting JR determine which one would be best.
That's good. That's your quality ride.
It definitely would be.
Can I leave it then?
You're good. Who manages the job board when you have like Peloton, John Deere? Who manages that end of the app?
The managers would put the project information into the app and have it set up for the employees to take a peek at.
I can see there being, that being maybe a little bit bigger deal, just because we have to put a lot of that information in there. Sometimes it's pulling from different places. I think it's good, that effort is needed at times.
It would also be like a structured form, so then you would just like quick put it in, so it wouldn't be like you'd have to like try and come up with what information to put in. It would just like have simple questions, which would make it easier. And it would be uniform across.
Copy and paste out.
Yeah, it would already have a format that you could just plug the information directly into.
Do you anticipate any training that would have to be done for managers, employees to make sure that this is implemented successfully?
That's a good question. I mean, it might be good to have some sort of tutorial at the beginning when you first set up the app so that you just learn how it works. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but it might be good just so everybody knows where things are.
The idea of the app is to make sure that it's not overcomplicated and that it's easy and straightforward to use. So bouncing off of what Jasper was saying, I would estimate that it would take just a little bit of time to get familiar with the app, like a tutorial, nothing extensive like training, but just to orient yourself with the program.
The approach you took, the survey from the company and the presentation was fantastic too, so well done. What considerations have you had around security for the data that might be put in there for our customers or our employees' security or of their personal information?
We talked about it briefly, but it would only be available to managers and whoever is authorized to see any kind of personal information.
It would be like an internal app, so it wouldn't be out to like public. So then I couldn't just download it. I could download it, but I wouldn't actually be able to get into the app. So then it would make it so that it's only people in JR using it. But then if you wanted to later roll it out more, that would require some change.
And in your design, did you take any considerations for like any APIs for any other third-party apps to be able to integrate with it and share data back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about making sure it's all compatible with whatever JR already has in place. Yeah.
I have some feedback for you guys. Is that okay? I think I got to watch this team like from day one come in and go through this process, and It's been absolutely amazing to watch you grow as a team. I would say when you guys got here, you even told me, I think a quote from the first day was, well, none of us are like real like outgoing leaders. And I'm like, oh, okay. And just to watch you grow and to be able to put this together for them has been awesome. You guys completely embodied what Future Preps wants to happen at a company. And thank you to the ambassadors for helping make that happen, and obviously the teachers as well. But through all the protocols you did, you got to this very specific solution. Our feedback panel who watched it yesterday was so impressed with your team. They like at the end, they all like, I don't even know what to say right now. So you guys wowed them, which because you did that, you are the 2021 winners of iChallengeU. That's an honor. Oh my goodness. We have our secret box in here. Want to help me hand these bad boys out? So excellent work, guys. You are the winners. It was probably one of my first years that I ever had a team get every vote for first place. Oh, so you guys should feel extremely good about that.
Thanks.
You absolutely earned it, so nice work on that. You guys go. You earned them as well. You definitely earned them.
Yeah.
JR, you earned it as well. Aww. There you go. But thank you guys for all you put into it. I love how you guys came together. Did any of you know each other before this started?
Sort of.
I knew her. She lives on my street.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
there you
live on
go.
my street and we go to the same school.
And she used to go.
Yeah,
in like
and
kindergarten,
Right.
second grade for a
But
while.
did any of you sign up together and say, I need you as my friend on this team?
No, I knew none of these people on day one.
Right.
In fact,
So,
I
think
remembered
of-
like half of their names.
Think of what you guys have done over the course of 2 weeks. You should be extremely proud of yourself. And thank you for doing that. And JR, thank you so much for hosting them and having them. I hope maybe this is something that you'll be able to take back and use. As I was watching when they talked about your passions and your strengths, it's all the things that we talk about constantly. Is how do you pair people with what they really love? So I thought you guys did a great job, knocked it out of the park. Good work.
Thank you. It's been a
Thanks.
pleasure and an honor.
And Mr. Searles is here, from director of the tech center, because I told him how fabulous your team was. I said, you gotta come watch this. So he came out to join us as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anyone else in there want to grill them? Because they would love to answer questions.
We're bulletproof. We prepared.
Over your course of 2 weeks, how much time did you guys spend on this every day?
Wait, was it 8 hours a day?
It was from 8 to 2:30.
6 hours in here, but
Okay.
we also worked at home sometimes.
But
Yeah.
we really started this maybe like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, we did this in like 3 days, or 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, Tuesday midday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, but we were taking in a lot of information on the tours.
And I was getting texts from their team at 10 p.m. at night saying, hey, we need this, you bring this to us. So they were working all the time. It was pretty cool to see. I was really proud of what they put into that. But the first week, you spent all on investigation, just trying to figure out what's the problem and what do people need.
Yeah, we got so much valuable information just from being with people at the locations. And it's been a pleasure meeting everyone too.
I was very impressed with how thorough it was. I mean, there's questions I had going into it as soon as you announced it, all the issues, and you addressed all those. It was very, very thorough. You got good information, came with a good solution. If you would have pitched this, hey, we want to give employees an opportunity to pick what projects they want out of it. No, we're not doing that. This presents an actual, it's feasible. It's something new that we could do. So very, very good. Addressed all the issues that I would have brought up coming into this meeting. So very good.
Any questions online from anybody?
Come on, Stephanie.
They don't.
She's sleeping.
I have a question. Do you know who gave us the feedback from yesterday?
We don't need to get into that right now.
No.
Specifically number 7.
Yes.
I cannot tell you that, that's why I took these emails